This is gonna be Professor Layton and the last Spectre, Professor Layton and the Spectre's Call, as it is called for us here in Europe, on the Nintendo DS, and this is gonna be part 4. Let's get started. Yeah, I'm already dropping frames, and I only just got started. Yeah, so much for the new router we have downstairs. The problem clearly isn't coming from the router. Well, or it wasn't, I mean, at first. If the situation isn't improved with a completely new thing. I think I was done talking to this guy. Okay. As Nate said, the excavation so far appears to have been fruitless. What makes you say that? I can tell from the exposed strata here your father knows more about geology than I do. My father? Really? Yes, in his university studies, Clark excelled at identifying organisms in strata like this. I take it he hasn't ever told you about that. Dad's been so busy with the town that we haven't spoken much recently. He seems like a different person since he became the mayor. I think maybe my mom left because she couldn't deal with him anymore. I bet he's not even my dad. What if the Spectre kidnapped my real dad? Settle down, Luke. I too thought that Clark was acting strangely. It's the Spectre controlling him. Oh, so he's not replaced now? When did you notice this change in your father? When he became mayor, right before the Spectre appeared. I'm sure Clark will return to his old self once we sort out this case, but I need your help to do it. We'll get to the bottom of this. You believe me, don't you, Luke? I believe in you, Mr. Layton. Thank you, Luke. Once we hear from Emmy, we will speak to your father. Now perhaps we should make our way to the library. You think Emmy is back by now? If she is not, then we can look at some of the archived newspapers. Maybe we can find something. I see. You know where the library is, don't you? It's east of the crossroads. Ah, that's right. Let's go. But first... Yeah, hold on. Yeah, there's a puzzle here, and then I want the hint coins. This is refreshing. I can't remember the last time I visited an excavation site. I thought you always explored places like this, Mr. Layton. Excavation sites? It's not always as glamorous as it sounds, Luke. I'm usually holed up in my study these days. That reminds me, here's a puzzle that may interest you. An archaeologist shows you some ancient runes found on a dig. These runes were divided into 2 groups, but I seem to have mixed them up. Can you sort the runes into the correct groups? Only the top left rune cannot be moved. Okay. Is it? I wonder if it has something to do with some relics. The drawing can be traced without lifting the thing of the damn it. Without lifting the, how should I say, the pencil or whatever it is you use for drawing from the paper or something. Yeah, the stream is acting up again. I'm sorry. Damn, ever since we have the new router, I seem to be having even more problems than before. Ah, well, it's mostly a still image anyway right now. It's mostly me talking and not much is moving. So I guess it's not as bad as it could be. What if that's the case? then this one can't be traced with a single one. Actually, I think, yeah, you have the one on the left that you can't move because it is to tell you how to identify them, I guess I should say. For crying out loud. Hey, internet seems good today. Well, yeah, but my stream is not. That's the problem. It's acting up. Anyway, hello Monica. How's it going? I'd say this one goes on the left as well. Yeah, well, there's not much moving on my screen on the stream right now, so you probably can't see it, but it's dropping a lot of frames. Well, it's on and off. At times it seems to be doing okay, and then it will start acting up. It's not doing it all the time. And we have a new router. They came to install a new router this morning. Is this correct? I can't tell. I'm not even sure of my theory, so that's a problem. No, this one I think goes to the right. I don't know, I'm gonna try like this. I was gonna say I'm looking at worse today since I'm gonna be playing Raft again today. Just now it feels like I'm gloating when yours is acting up. Well, it didn't come across like that, don't worry about it. Yeah, the rooms are divided into two groups. The one on the left can be written in one pen stroke without lifting the pen or retracing the line, and the ones on the right can't. Yeah, that's what I had in mind, okay. Well solved. Clark and I always used to swap puzzles like this. You were good friends with my dad, weren't you? What was he like back when you knew him? Well, he was a very hard-working student, always on time and incredibly diligent. He was a favorite with the faculty members, and they often assigned him particularly tricky tasks. We were both so enthralled by our research that we regularly studied through the night. And despite all that, he still felt he had a duty to help out his friends and family. But that's not what he's like now. I can understand why you would doubt your father. We will get to the bottom of his behavior, I promise. Then you can see the truth for yourself. I'm not sure I want to. Okay, okay. Oh. Wow, that was a real live explosion. Nate surely can't be using dynamite to excavate the Golden Garden. That doesn't seem like a very safe way to dig. No, not at all. I rather hope that the Golden Garden isn't here. Ah, there we go. Argent Pebble. Should I talk to this guy again? Wait. Yeah, this guy has another puzzle. We dug up this entire area, but we haven't found a scrap of archaeological evidence. I'm starting to think the Golden Garden is nothing but a legend. Nothing else came of the dig? Well, we found a few pieces here and there that might have some historical relevance, but none of them have to do with the Golden Garden. They're just plain artifacts. That's why everyone involved with the dig has left, I suppose. That's about the size of it. I stay in and lounge around in my hotel when the weather is not too good. Have you been there? They've got a couple of funny looking signs up in the entrance nowadays. Reflections. 2 signs decorate the entrance to this hotel. One sign has a mirrored surface with a number of lines drawn across it. It also reflects the lines drawn on the sign opposite. When both sets of line are combined, they form a 3-digit number that tells you the price of the deluxe suite in pounds. How much does the suite cost? You have to keep in mind that the lines have to be mirrored on the other side. Like this. 546, I think.
A challenging puzzle, to be sure.
Okay.
I love the thrill of a good solution.
I love the thrill of a good solution. Exactly. The answer is 546 pounds. A little pricier than you might think, eh? But it is a suite. While I'm stuck here, the rest of my team are probably coming up with new exciting hypotheses. Sometimes I wonder if there is any point continuing this excavation. Am I just clutching at straws? If the Golden Garden truly exists, I would very much like to see it. Please don't give up. No puzzle from this guy. Okay. Well, he said to go to the library, so I guess I should go back there. The library is, no, not this way. It's down in downtown, I think. Yeah, it's from this plaza, I think, or park, I guess they say. Or is it? But no, the map on the top screen actually has arrows pointing me in the right direction, so I don't even have to look for it. Hey, there's this guy again. Hey, it's me, Goosey. Goosey, what are you doing lurking down there? Well, I wanted a quiet place to hide, so I thought the library would work. I still stick out, don't I? Bother, and I was really trying to sandwich myself between the bookshelves too. But why don't you just sit in the quiet corner out of sight? You'll never understand, Luke. You don't know what it means to stick out. But I can live with it. Anyway, how would you like to try a puzzle? Someone has been painting this square board in a rather patchy manner. The board has sides of 20 centimeters and the paintbrush is 10 centimeters wide. With every layer of paint, the surface gets darker. The color code shows the number of layers needed to make each color. What is the minimum number of paintbrush strokes required to get the pattern shown below? 1, 2, 3, 4, I'd say. It looks like you'd need 2 for the base layer that has to cover everything. then one for each of the two things down there on the sides, and then another one across that covers the last two. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5, I suppose. I hope this is correct.
I think this is
right, indeed. Indeed.
That puzzle wasn't so hard.
Coats of paint is now in your puzzle index. New thing. My granny says the library is so old it even has stories about the Spectre legend. I still don't understand though, Goosey. Why were you hiding in that tiny little gap? It just looked so nice and cozy. I thought if I could just slip in there, I wouldn't stick out at all. Right, if you say so. Don't try to make sense of it. Hold on, because I think I should have talked to the people on the way back here. This guy. Once upon a time, the whole planet was lavishly green. Verdant green life surrounded all creatures, even humans. But then humans cornered off this lush bounty and separated themselves from it. What you say is especially true of cities. It is especially true, that's why I said it. That's also why I love Miss Tollery and its greenery. Ah, sometimes it's just all too much. The green of the trees, the green of the shrubs. Open your eyes and see. Nothing can surpass the woven tapestry of nature's colors. Nothing. Yes, well, we really must be going, if you'll excuse us. You can pretty much tell when Layton is weirded out by someone. He just makes an excuse and takes his leave. I don't like the police around here. Can't they spare a thought for a poor old fellow? I asked them if they could solve this puzzle, and what did they do? Check it on the desk, that's what. Too busy with the Spectre, they said. It's a downright insult. Lanky lamppost. Can you work out the height of this lamppost in meters just by looking at the shadow it casts? The bollard next to the lamppost has a height of 1 meter and casts a shadow 1.5 meter long. I'd say 4. If you aren't talking puzzles, Layton doesn't want to hear it. Yeah. I think what you have to take into account is the proportion between the height of the thing and the length of the shadow that it casts on the ground. The shadow that it casts here on the ground is 50% more than the real height of the thing. So you have to take something that would be where 3 would be 50% longer, so that would be 2. And then the shadow cast on the wall is not distorted. It's a perfect projection, so I think the height of the shadow there should not be changed in any way. Yes. Yeah, 2, so 2 plus 2, that would be 4, I think. If I'm correct about this. There was already another puzzle involving the measuring something based on the length of shadows and stuff.
Time to apply some creative thinking.
It was the height between the lamp hanging from the
A
ceiling
gentleman leaves no puzzle undone.
and the floor below. Precisely, the lamppost is 4 meters high. You'd think the police could stop to help a frail old man, not rush off to find some boggart. It's terrible. What's the world coming to these days, eh? Ah, yeah, this is the other one I missed. blue sky, a gentle breeze. Hard to believe the Spectre showed up in this cozy little town. I love peace, it's the truth. And cats. I'd give my right arm to sleep all day like they do. Here, if you're a cat lover, maybe you'd fancy this little brain teaser. How about it? Ah, it's another one of these. He already gave me a puzzle like this. Yeah, you need to lay down fish to lead it through the maze or something. And you only have 6 fishes. Alright, well, as usual, it's easier if you just count from the exit. So you would need to put 1 on the star. This one would be 5. 4, 3, 2... Nah, that's probably not how you do it. Like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go.
How about this? I knew I could do it.
Correct. You used 6 fishes, more like, to rescue the cat. You must be a very full kitty now. Ah, a toy train. You never know what a cat's thinking. They're inscrutable. You see mice around every corner in this place, but there aren't many cats. Tragic that. Yeah, what are the mice for anyway? The mice badges. Now, I'm a quiet, peaceful soul by nature, but I can't get a wink of sleep lately because of this ridiculous course. Tell me, how are you supposed to get through all the stations and to the goal? I'm at my wit's end. Okay, so we have a train where the tracks are already laid out. That doesn't seem correct. I know that's not possible. Oh, hold on. I don't know, I'm just trying to see how it's gonna play out with the other train. Well, okay. That didn't go so well. Or do you have to get across before it does? Like this, more like. It doesn't look like I will be able to cross before it reaches me. Yeah. Hold on. If I do it like this. How does that look? I'm experimenting. Well, that seems correct so far. No, no! Oh, come on, it was going so well. I guess I could delay it towards the end. Or if I change it ever so slightly like this. Oh, that was close. No. Judging from what happened last time, how does that look? That should delay it so that it doesn't collide, but then I think the red one might collide it back when it goes back down. When it goes up is what I should say. I know it's gonna be even worse, actually. Yeah, no, never mind. Ah, but there's one can of fuel I didn't get. Or like this? It's a mess. Good thing real railways. Oh boy. I don't know if it's the only solution, but it's pretty clutch. That's for sure. It did look like I needed to collect all the cans of fuel or drums, oil drums or whatever it is. I'm not quite sure what they're supposed to be. But anyway, it's sold. Back. Close. Okay. Hold on, before I go back there. Ah, she has a puzzle. What are you lot dilly-dallying about here for? I haven't got all day. If you've time to talk, you've time to work. That's what I say. Now get a move on before I do. If you're so intent on slacking off, you won't mind if I slap a puzzle in your face, will you? A, B, and C live in a row of houses that runs west to east. Their roofs are colored red, blue, and yellow. A local resident is trying to describe the street but can only remember a few details. A lives west of B. Okay. Okay, well, I guess the houses go like this. The blue roof is west of A's house. What am I doing? Like this, I think. A lives west of B. That fits. The red roof is east of the yellow roof. That fits. The blue roof is west of A's house. And that's it.
Some puzzles must be met directly.
Okay.
I love the thrill of a good solution.
Splendid. Starting from the west is C's house with the blue roof. Yeah, well, okay. I thought they were gonna explain the methodology, but they don't. You see? Keep that up and get your investigation going. Life's too short to dally around like an oaf. No puzzle. Ahahaha, I see that even I have become subject to your persistent prodding technique, but it is good to see you pay such fine attention to detail. You are certainly not a hurry-body. Come then, sir, let me present you with a gift that transcends all others, the gift of friendship. Thank you, but we really must be moving on. Okay, Layton is weirded out again. Puzzle. Ever since that Spectre passed by, I keep thinking that the building's been leaning to one side, that it might topple over. Joe, are you alright? You seem to lose your balance. It's it's not the house that's unbalanced, it's him. It's the booze. Don't you mind me, I think I've just been staring at the walls for too long. Yeah, how's about a battle of wits? That ought to get me thinking straight again. Wits, you say? Well, I could never refuse a challenge. The owner of the hotel, Joe, has challenged you to a little game. There are 15 empty bottles on the counter. Why am I not surprised? Bottles. The player takes turns removing 1, 2, or 3 bottles at a time. Whoever takes the last bottle loses the game. Oh, I like these, actually. I'm usually not too bad at these. There!
Time to apply some creative thinking.
You want
No
there to be
puzzles
5
without an
bottles
answer.
left at the end when it's his turn, so that he can't take all of the, so that he can't take more than 3. And if he takes 3, you take 1. If he takes 2, you take 2. And if he takes 1, you take 3. And he's left with the final bottle. I actually coded a game like this once in programming class, where you had to play against the computer, and I programmed it so that you could never win, basically, unless you were the first one to start taking. It was marbles in a pot. It was all text-based, but I programmed it to be unbeatable. Unless you were the first one to take marbles out, anyway. Bottle game is now in your puzzle index. Well, look at that. You beat me. That was very entertaining, thank you. So, what were we talking about before? Oh yeah, the building leaning. Well, in any case, the ground's been right wobbly all over town for the past few months. Ah, my stylus. I think it's the Spectre that's behind all this me. Oh dear, what have I done? You seem to be in a spot of trouble. May I be of assistance? Oh yes, please. Well, you see, when the Spectre attacked, it damaged the light circuits downstairs. How mean, making it unbeatable unless you begin? Well, yeah, because as long as you understand the logic, how to win every time at this game, you can easily make a program that knows of this and always will make it so that it has the advantage, essentially. You always want your adversary to be faced with a number of units of whatever it is that you have to take that's equal 5 plus multiples of 4. So 5, 9, or 13, or 17. And then you watch what they take, and you take the same. You take 4 minus what they take, and you win every time. Well, it's hard to explain, obviously. The lights have been flickering on and off all day. I can't guarantee they'll last the night, and we have guests booked in for tonight. What should I do? I can't let them wander around in the dark. Why not use some small lamps or lanterns? Lamps? That sounds complicated. Emergency lighting. What's that? Touch a square to place a lamp there. 1 lamp lights up the square it occupies, plus any adjacent square. Let's say you need to light a room during a blackout using only 7 lamps. Each lamp will light the square it's on and 1 square on each side of it. How would you place 7 lamps to light this entire room? What if you want the corners to be lit? You have to place 1 at each corner. There's no other way. Huh. Oh, not necessarily, actually. This woman, Molly, kinda looks similar to a character that's in Catriel's game, her assistant. Just like her assistant is a guy her age. Molly? Oh, the woman I was talking to? I have, like I said, I have not played the Catriel game yet, so I don't know. Even a fabulous chandelier isn't going to be much use in the blackout. Let's say you need to light a room during the blackout using only 7 lamps. It's actually tougher than I thought. Is it? Yeah, it doesn't matter, I guess. I've already got 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6. No, that's not gonna work. Oh, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, okay.
Some puzzles must be met directly.
You have only played a bit, but once, but then stopped. Oh yeah, I think you mentioned it. You played it on what, 3DS maybe? It's on mobile as well, I think, isn't it? It's on 3DS, mobile, Switch, and I can't remember if there are any more platforms. If I was gonna get it, I would get it for the Switch. I still have to get a Layton game on 3DS, actually. The second one on 3DS, I never bought it. It may be time for me to do so while 3DS games are not quite as expensive as they used to be. Before they start being so rare that the prices start going up. I already got the Miracle Mask, I think, was the first one on 3DS. I got it pretty cheap because it was discounted when I got it. But I have yet to play it. Like many 3DS games that I have yet to play, it's the tiny size of the screen that prevents me from going back to my 3DS. You played on your phone, had to remove it because I needed the space and I didn't play it anyways. It must have been cheaper to get on a phone than on a console anyway. Typically mobile games, even if they're exactly the same game, they will usually be cheaper on mobile. I think our guests will be fine now, thanks. You know, I think these lamps may even be an improvement. They create a certain ambience. Ambience? I believe you're right again. Thanks for enlightening us, Professor. Teehee. Okay, this guy has a puzzle. So this is how it's going to be, eh? Generations of hat makers, and it all ends with me. It's free on mobile, just playable things to get. Payable things to get. Ah, okay. I might try it, actually, then. Ah, okay. Well, I may try it, just to see what it's like on mobile. But get it on the Switch anyway. Just to have it in my collection. No, there's a time and a place for hats, and it's not here and now. They all want sunglasses instead. Sport a pair of my designer shades, and you two can be as chic as a Soho celebrity. Ta-da! Hold on, though. I just had a flash of inspiration. Wait, that's not all. A puzzle, too. Here are 16 people standing in 4 rows of 4. By moving only 2 caps, find a way to create a checkerboard pattern of people with and without visible brown hair. What's wrong with brown hair? I ask. Of course, to meet this requirement, each row and column must contain an equal number of people with brown hair and without brown hair. Moving only 2 caps, they say. It looks like there's a hat missing. Unless one of them is bald underneath. I don't know. I bet one of them has to be bald. I just have to find which one. Ah, okay. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, figures. Okay. Restart. Then move these like this. It's not. He's not bald. He has white hair.
Thinking. No puzzle is without an answer.
Correct. Someone with white hair was hidden among the rest. It was possible to evenly line up those with brown hair and those without, after all. There is always a trick. When something seems wrong, it's because there's something that the explanation isn't telling you. I suppose inspiration alone isn't enough. I was naive. Can't do much without good, honest hard work. Why, it was an exemplary puzzle. I see no reason why you shouldn't continue your hat profession. You really think so? Maybe I ought to give it a second thought after all. Okay then. And another puzzle. Guess what? I know something about the Spectre that nobody else knows. Is that so? What's that then? Huh, you think I'm going to tell you just like that? If you want to know, you'll have to solve this puzzle. Wait, what was that? What was that? The water in the park fountain is fed through 13 valves. One day A and B are cleaning the fountain when they come up with the following game. Taking it in turns to open one valve or 2 adjacent valves at a time. The one who opens the final spout will be the winner. After the coin toss, A starts and opens 2 valves. Can you help B win the game? I don't really have a trick for this one. Hi Mush. You own it on Switch, but you need to get back to it. You haven't finished a Layton game yet. I guess it's not... Well, I guess it's not exactly a Layton game. I've heard they're a bit different than the regular Layton games. I just don't know how so. Wait, what? I have to open the final one, okay. It feels like a Layton game just with different characters. Someone solves your puzzle, I'm a failure, I gotta shut down my business, move towns, start a new life. Wait, which one did he activate? Ah, shoot. Yeah, he wins again. You don't want to find yourself in a position where you have two on both sides. He tricked me! Yeah, duh. But I guess I can just keep trying. Okay, hold on. I think I've got it. I think I picked up a trick. Ah, no. Okay, I lose again. Typical Layton NPC. My daughter is missing, but that can wait. This puzzle has been boggling my mind for a while now. That's exactly how it is in the Layton world. He got me again! Darn it! I can't beat this thing! I know there was a trick to it, I just can't recall what it is exactly. Hold on. This is the critical point. If I do this... If I do this, it's just gonna open the one that's by itself and then win. Is there any way I can win this at this point? If I take 2, it's gonna open 2 on the other side, leaving me with a no-win situation. If I take 2 here, I guess, I know he's gonna win. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Monica. I didn't see. Yeah. You had to leave because you have to play Raft. Yeah, I know. Yeah, have a good one. You're welcome, Monica. And yeah, I vaguely remember it too, but I don't remember the solution either. I know I had to look up a trick to know how to solve it last time, but I know it's something to do with being opposite the what the guy does. But I can't quite recall exactly what it was. Oh, wait, I think I can win. I think I can win this time. Ah, no. No, he's gonna win. Ah! This AI is too good. Do you have to leave a space every time? Hold on. If if I take this one, he plays, I play, he plays, I play, he plays. I don't know, I'm gonna try and we'll see. Yeah, I think he just tricked me. Yeah, he tricked me again. He's gonna win. Start over. Feel tricked again. There's a loose connection in my laptop screen somewhere, so it keeps flickering if I move it ever so slightly. Really annoying. Ah, you mean with your screen? Like somewhere in the hinge, maybe, where the connector cable is going through from the bottom to the panel, perhaps. I have this, but on my Nintendo DS. My OG fat Nintendo DS has that problem. It's so old, it's been opened and closed so many times. So I have that kind of problem. It's not really that it flickers, but the display freezes when it's folded in certain angles of position. Ah well, it's 15 years old at this point, and it's seen a lot of use. Yeah, I play, he plays, and he wins. It's unfair that he gets the start anyway. Need to get it looked at, but kinda hard considering the current pandemic. Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine. It's 2 and 2. If I pick one, he only has to pick one, and then I pick one, and he picks one, and he wins. I just can't bring about the... I can't bring about any kind of situation where I can win. Yeah, of course, that's what he's gonna do. That's what I'd do if I was in that position. If it was another issue, I'd be able to do it myself, but I don't know. Not confident in my ability to do that without messing it up completely. Yeah, I'd feel about the same, I think. Hold on, maybe I'm onto something here. If I do this, he plays, I play, he plays. No, that's not gonna work if I do it like that. I play this, he plays. He's gonna take the 2. If I play like this, if I leave 2, he's gonna play 2. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna need a hint. The key to winning this game is in going second. Try to work out how you can use it to your advantage. If I knew how to do that. The two have to be adjacent. Yes, that's exactly how it is, yeah. If there's two left and they're not adjacent, you can't take both. The water in the park fountain is fed through 13 valves and one... Oh, no, wait. To be sure of winning, there is only one choice for B's first move. Think about which valves can help B to win. Well, I seem to remember that the first one has to be the one opposite whatever it is he does. If the top valve is valve 1, then counting clockwise, open valve 8. After opening valve 8, take a look at the position of the valves. Do you notice anything? You should be able to spot a way to make sure B wins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's exactly what I've been doing. Because I remember needing the hint the first time around. So what is it? Something about playing opposite him every time, but I think I tried that and I couldn't get it to work. Because there are 13, so it's never exactly opposite, I guess. Here, is it 2 or is it 1 to be absolutely opposite to whatever it is he does? Yeah, I'm following that pattern. And he still wins. Okay, I'll use the super hint then. If you open valve 8 as in hint 3, there should be 5 valves left on either side of the fountain. When A makes his next move, B should match it on the other side. Give it a try. Okay. So if he opens 1, I should open 1. And if it's 2, I should open 2. I can't keep doing that. Duh. Even the hint is no use. Or here? I think they mean symmetrical moves, not directly opposite. Wait, what did he do there? Oh, I think I've got it now. Hold on. Ah, finally. Okay.
A challenging puzzle, to be sure.
It's not super well explained.
A gentleman leaves no
but I
puzzle
think what they
undone.
mean by that is that he opens the first 2, you have to open the one that's opposite, and then if he opens one that's 2 counterclockwise to what he already played, you have to do 2 counterclockwise to what you did, and so on and so forth. You have to count from your first move how many it is and how many you have to open. Yeah, well, that took me long enough. But I remember struggling with this one the first time too. Fantastic. As A begins by opening 2 valves, there are 11 left at the start of B's first turn. In order to ensure a win, B must use this turn to open just 1 valve so that the remaining valves are divided into 2 groups of 5. Yeah, well. Yeah. Oh wow, mister, you actually did it. You might even be better at puzzle solving than my dad. Well, I'd be interested to find out one day, but for now, weren't you going to tell us a secret? Oh yeah, well, the Spectre is really protecting the town, see? Just like it says in the storybooks. When we went back to our house in North Eli, we found some blood on the ground nearby. Dad said that it'd be the Spectre's blood. He sounded really worried too, because the Spectre is fighting off the bad things attacking the town and is getting hurt. But that night in North Eli, we saw only the Spectre from the hotel. There wasn't anyone else. Well, we may have been mistaken, Luke. Let's not dismiss any possibilities. The Spectre is protecting us. Somebody should help it. Well, next time we see the Spectre, we shall do our best to give it our aid. Well, it would fit the usual theme of Layton, I guess. That there's no real villain in the story or something. Really? You'll do that? You're alright, mister. Okay, now I should get to the library, I think. I already talked to this guy. Welcome to the Mistollery Library. If you can't find a book, just tell me. I know where all of them are. We were hoping to look at a few local newspapers. Come on, stream. Alright. The newspapers are over in the corner. If you need an archived issue, I'll show you where to look. I need some newspapers from around the time that Evan Bard has passed away. Library policy prohibits me from showing them to anyone who hasn't completed at least 50 puzzles. I have solved more than that, I think. And it looks as if you've done so. Fab. Please give me a moment. Sorry to keep you waiting. These are all the newspapers printed the week of Mr. Bard's death. Perfect. May I borrow them? Are you familiar with the concept of library? Ha! Library humor. Go ahead, but bring them back. Very strange indeed. There are no concrete details about Bard's death in any local newspapers. Well, that's no help. Perhaps not. How long should we wait for Emmy, Mr. Layton? Does she even know what the library looks like? Why don't you enlighten me, Luke? Emmy, you're back. It's good to see you. You too, Luke. Sorry I'm late. I had trouble reading all the road signs on the way here. I'm sorry, I didn't mean anything by it. I'm sure you didn't. The children's books are over in the corner. Sorry to keep you waiting, Professor. Here are the materials you requested. Thank you, Emmy. I apologize for the trouble, but this may bring us a step closer in our investigation. I also brought you a surprise. Well, if it isn't Professor Layton, keeping well, I take it. Inspector Grosky. So you're the one Emmy has been helping. Not very sporting to keep that a secret, Emmy. Me? Not sporting? So you were Emmy's Scotland Yard connection, Inspector. Grosky. What a small world. So the professor really doesn't remember at all. What was that, Emmy? What? Nothing. It was just... Is that a new hat, Professor? Never mind hats. I hear there is some sort of giant spectre menacing this town. Yes, it is quite a situation. It sounds as if Emmy has briefed you on some of the particulars, but allow me to fill in the details. Each time it appears, the spectre destroys a part of the town. Someone is pulling the strings of this spectre. However, I'm not yet certain who. A Spectre conspiracy. Sounds like a crime to me, and no crook can elude Krosky of the Yard. I'll run down to the Mistollery police chief and exact his full cooperation. Hold on, Inspector, I haven't told you everything yet. And there he goes. He looked keen. Well, let's have a look at what Emmy brought us. I think we'll find some useful information here. Oh, Professor, I had my film developed as well. I think these photos should come in useful. Good thinking, Emmy. According to the police report, Bard died when he fell off a cliff. No signs of a struggle at the scene. A will was discovered in his house. The details of Bard's death are pretty sketchy. Have you ever played Layton vs. Phoenix Wright? No, I have not, sadly. I think it did receive a physical release in Europe, if I'm not mistaken. I think the Phoenix Wright games didn't, but the Layton vs. Phoenix Wright game did, so I should probably get it at some point. Assuming I can find it. That is. Because I don't know if it's still easy to find now or if it has sort of become rare at this point. The details of Bard's death are pretty sketchy. And look at this. According to the single eyewitness, there was no one else in the area, and the eyewitness was... Clark Triton. What, my dad? Mr. Triton was the witness at the scene? Did he ever mention anything about that? Did you know about any of this, Luke? No, this is the first I've heard of it. Sorry. Mom never mentioned it either. In his will, Mr. Bard left his rights to the town's land to Clark. He left all of that property to someone he wasn't related to? Why? And that's not all. Look, there is no mention of the Spectre in today's London newspaper. No mention despite the massive damage sustained by the town. Don't you find that strange? Now that you mention it, we hadn't heard anything about the Spectre until we came to Miss Tollery. Is someone trying to keep the story from getting out? It would appear so. Who would be capable of controlling information like that? Let's confirm the report at Miss Tollery police station before we jump to any conclusions. Perhaps Grosky has tracked down the police chief for us. Another mystery. Evan Bard's death. There are many unresolved questions surrounding the death of Evan Bard. What really happened on that day? I'm positive that the key to unraveling the mystery of the Spectre lies in Evan Bard's death. Clark isn't a relative of Evan Bard, so why was he mentioned in Bard's will? Is Grosky perhaps in Layton versus Phoenix Wright? Is that what you were asking? Actually, come to think of it. Oh, Emmy, we may have cause to return to London sometime for our investigation. Just touch my car at the entrance to the town. You may then select your destination from there. Got it. That way we can catch any puzzles I missed in London. I think that's Chelmy, because it takes place during the first trilogy. Ah, okay. But I guess Grosky appears maybe in the 3DS games, like the second trilogy, so to speak, the first chronologically. Let's just say I wouldn't be surprised anyway. We reported the witch's mark to the police, but they've done naught. What do we pay taxes for? He does, yeah, he's a great character. But if you erase it before the witch is caught, you might get cursed too, if you believe in that rubbish. Don't worry, Thomas. The whole thing was a silly prank. What? How do you know that? Have you found the culprit? Luke, let's keep Tony's prank between us for now. Oh, right, Mr. Layton. So who was it? Tell me and I'll give them a good clip around the ear. I'm afraid I don't know. I just assumed it was a prank. What? Never assume things, lad. When you assume, you make an awful mess for both of us. Okay. There we go. You know, since the Spectre showed up, it seems as if smiles have been scarcer than hen's teeth. I suppose it's only natural, though. I just wish we could go back to our halcyon days. Halcyon? Is that how you say it? We used to have such a lark solving puzzle. We used to have such a lark solving puzzles. Here, why don't you try one of my old favorites? Swap over. Starting with A and moving clockwise, the people in this circle are arranged in the following order: female, female, male, female, female, male, male. Swap just two people to create an arrangement where, starting with A, the same male-female pattern occurs whether you count every first person or only every second person. Can you make the swap? Seems like Layton versus Phoenix Wright is not readily available. Like, in the sense that it's tough to obtain. Let me look on one of the websites I always buy from. I know they only have Layton's Mystery Journey in stock on this one. Okay. Yeah. And I guess if I type Phoenix Wright. Yeah, well, whatever. Okay. Yeah, it may be tough to obtain. I looked on Amazon and eBay and it seems like prices are hiked up a bit. Yeah, I'm not too surprised. I got a physical in Europe though because I believe Nintendo published it here. It feels that way to me, yeah. I think it did receive a physical release. And I didn't get the others, the other Phoenix Wright games on 3DS because they were not released physically. But if the rumor that we're gonna get a compilation on Switch is true, then I would get it that way then. Like Apollo Justice, and then what was it? The two on 3DS, the Phoenix Wright games, Spirit of Justice, and then another. I can't remember what the title of the other one is. But it seems like we would get one. Dual Destinies? Ah, yeah, that's the one. Female, female, female. Male. Female, male. Is that it?
I think this is right.
Okay. I'd buy both Layton and Ace Attorney collections if they made their way to Switch, but it seems like level 5 won't be operating outside of Japan anymore. Yeah, I've heard that, yeah. No, the Layton versus Phoenix Wright, I wouldn't expect it to get re-released. But the Phoenix Wright games, yeah, I would get them. You just need to swap C and D. That way you'll get the same male-female pattern counting every person, every second person, and every fourth person too. Did you notice that you also get that same pattern if you start from A and count every third person or every fifth person going anti-clockwise? No, I had enough on my mind with just solving the puzzle. Thank you very much. People say someone controls the Spectre, but what would be the point of destroying the town? Like, it can't just be some stormy petrol going around and randomly knocking buildings down, can it? Either way, I simply hope the brave police of this town put an end to it soon. Well, no, he's only gonna offer me to move by boat or something. No, so go back. I was always hoping for a second crossover with Layton and Phoenix, but sadly we never got it. Yeah, it's sad that we may never get other level 5 games in the West. And that sucks, really. The years have gone by so quickly since I was laid off at the factory, I can't keep up at all. Looking back, my days at the factory weren't easy, but I did feel a sense of achievement. And now what? I stand here thinking of the old days. How pathetic I must look, eh? I'm not half the man I used to be. Wish I could show you my old self. Thank you for listening to an old man's tales. In exchange, let me give you this puzzle. Below are 3 bells, each of which has 1 red and 1 blue hammer attached. Beneath each bell is a counter, and the bells are rigged such that the count increases according to certain rules whenever the bell is struck. The counters are already at the values shown below. Can you use the red and blue hammers to make all 3 counters display the same number? Damn it. My stream is acting up a lot today. Blue is +4. Red is +3. Okay, the rules seem to be the same for all of them. It's +3 and +4. $16. 16. Okay, there we go.
This is what I've come up with.
Yokai Watch 4 looks far more
That
polished
was
than
it.
Pokemon Sword and Shield, so it's a shame. Yeah. They often look very polished, their games, anyway. At least, I mean, compared to Pokemon, which is rarely at the edge of technology in terms of presentation and visual polish, at least these games are usually pretty well done in that regard. There was another sub-series of Dragon Quest that was like that on the Nintendo DS. The Dragon Quest Monsters Joker or something like that, which was kind of like Pokemon games, but they always looked like way ahead of the Pokemon games that were on the Nintendo DS from a technical standpoint anyway. How the Bell's Toll is now in your puzzle index. I think we're even now. I should be getting home to tend to my rose garden and my goldfish. Once upon a time they called me the Steam Car Demon. Now all I have is my love of roses. Okay, New Pokemon Snap looks really nice visually, but it's being worked on by Bandai Namco. I'm not really into the style of game like that Pokemon Snap is. Otherwise, I would be interested in getting it for Switch, but... Oh, wait. Wait. He has a new drop-off point? Now, that's a silly question. Yeah, okay, there's a new boat pier that way. How can someone like me be defeated by such a simple matter as this? You seem to be in a spot of trouble. Is there anything I can help with? I prepared some sweets for a little boy, but I've got it all mixed up with my numbers and jars. Okay. Below are 4 rather special sweetie jars, A to D. The number of sweets in jars A and B combined is exactly twice the number of sweets in jars C. Yeah, A plus B equals C plus C, yeah. At the same time, the total number of sweets in jars B and D is twice the number of sweets in jar A, but if you move 3 sweets from jar D to jar A will have twice as many sweets as jar B. One of the jars contains 6 sweets. Can you work out with which? D, wait. I'm trying to plug in some values. It seems to me like A should be a smaller number than B. Well, between the two... These puzzles really get your brain working. No, wait, no, it's not exactly what it says. So A plus 3 equals 2B, basically. Well, let's see. Actually, there may be a much easier way to do it. It says that one of the jars contains 6 sweets. So let's try it to see if it works anywhere. If it was A, that would be 12. That could be huh. I don't know where to start. That's the problem. And I'm not really in the mood for equations right now. I don't know. 5 plus 7. No, that can't be. B would have to be something that is dividable, that's also an even number, not odd. Something like 4 perhaps. Eight might, if you take yeah, A plus 3, that would be 9 equals 4 plus 4. No, that's not correct. Nah, it doesn't work. It doesn't work like that, I guess. Okay, so it can't be A. At least I think I can rule it out. B. If this one was 6. Then A would have to be an even number, because the solution has to be of the first equation has to be divisible by 2 here. The sum of these two would obviously be an even number, which means that A would have to be an even number as well. But if you add 3 to an even number, you get an odd number, so that it can't be B either. I don't know if it makes sense, me just saying it like this, but it makes sense in my mind at least. 6 plus 6. Let's see, what could we have on the other side then? The sum of B plus D would have to be an even number as well. Let's see, I don't know what that could be. Let's say I don't know, 7 plus 5. How much do you need to add? 9? If you take 9 and you take 3 off and you add them to A, that would be 10 equals 5 plus 5. Ah, that seems to work. That checks out. That checks out.
Time to apply some creative thinking.
Yeah, okay. By plugging the number 6
No
in the
puzzle
equations
without
and
an
see
answer.
if it checks out, you can sort of tell. That may not necessarily be the best way to go about it, but it's the best my brain can do right now. That's the best it can manage. You know that A plus 3 equals 2B. Now as 2B must be even and 3 is odd, A must also be odd. Similarly, A odd... Yeah, well, okay. Even running it like this, I can't already wrap my head around it. Well, I got the solution. It's what counts. Eek! Look, while you've been dilly-dallying, my sweets have started melting. I can't sell these. I'll have to start all over again. Even a little melted, the taste should stay the same, shouldn't it? It seems a shame to waste them. My dear man, there's no other way. I can't sell these like this. It would go against everything I believe in. Oh, and they look so delicious too. No, no puzzle. My mom nearly had a heart attack when she saw the Spectre. She hasn't stopped babbling since, going on about its big eyes and huge claws. I'm a bit worried about her. I wish she would get better so she could help me run the fruit stand. Do you live near here? Not really. I used to live in Grand Bridge with my mum and dad, but the Spectre ruined our house. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, it must be distressing for you. Emmy, we must try to solve this case quickly. This person? My family was never rich. That's why my dad had to leave town to find work digging holes. The first 4 Layton games are on Wii U, then no, they aren't. They are not. It's me having modded my Wii U and having injected the ROM for the game into another virtual console title, if you like, replacing the ROM, swapping them, so that I can use the touchscreen on my Wii U gamepad and stream these more easily. Because if I was emulating them on my PC, it would, you know, drawing on the PC using a mouse, it's not exactly convenient. It works well enough for some games anyway, not all of them. Speaking of families, I've got a real cracker of a puzzle for you. A couple and their 3 young children need to cross this river by raft. The raft can hold up to 2 people. Oh yeah, it's one of these puzzles again. I'm usually not very good at these. It's like the wolf and the sheep in a different Layton game. A couple and their 3 young children need to cross the river by raft. The raft can hold up to 2 people, 1 person to row and 1 passenger. It turns out that rowing is hard work. However, both adults can row across twice, but they need to stop for a rest between the 2 trips. The children can only row across the river once. Can you help get everyone in the family to get to the other side? Probably. I think I can see where this is getting at. You can only get the children one by one, because if... yeah, I think. So... whether it be the mom or the dad, I guess it doesn't matter. Yes! Excellent.
A challenging puzzle, to be sure. I love the thrill of a good solution.
A kid can only get from one side to the other once, so you have to work around the parents making like multiple trips. Correct. In addition to the solution shown here, there is an alternate method in which neither parent ever rides on the raft with a child. Oh, really? If you haven't solved the puzzle that way yet, it might be a nice extra challenge for you. Okay. Well, I guess, yeah, 2 kids could go first, and the one that didn't row on the first trip could row on the other on the trip back, and then he gets ferried back across by one of the 2 parents. Yeah, I guess it could work that way too. My family was just my dad, my mom, and me. So when my dad left, the house became really quiet and lonely. I wish I could see him again. Okay. Another puzzle. There's quite a lot of stuff we come across when we go scavenging that's really worth something. Like iron rods or wooden boards. You can build all sorts of things with those. Of course, there's plenty of useless junk in there too, but everything you see here has value. What am I? Good question. Forget batteries and silly old springs. I have no need for such fiddly things. Though made of glass and somewhat fragile, with good direction, I'm rather agile, and though you'll never make me rush, I'm never late. Well, not by much. Can you guess what I am? Circle me. Okay. No batteries, no springs. So... What's that thing up there to the right anyway? Looks like I don't know, marmalade? Orange juice? I'm not quite sure. I don't know, the hourglass? A jar of jam or something. Yeah, it looks like oranges on it. So I thought orange marmalade, maybe. Yeah, probably the hourglass, I think. It has no batteries, no silly old springs. You can't rush it because the sand will just keep going down at a steady rate. I guess it's not the most accurate way of measuring time, but it's accurate enough. That fits the description, the way I can see it.
Some puzzles must be met directly. A gentleman leaves no puzzle undone.
Correct, it was an hourglass. It makes sense that the hourglass is a poet. It has a strong sense of timing, after all. Okay, sure. Socket turns a lot of those discarded items into something new so we can sell them. Most of the stuff you see for sale in the black market probably looked like junk to begin with. Wow, turning junk into treasure, that sounds like fun. Look, we're not playing around, this is how we make a living. Maybe you don't understand, rich boy. I'm sorry, I didn't know. Down here, maybe? This guy? Ah, yeah. Shackwell. Once again, I have abandoned my wife and child to ensconce myself fully in the auction. I feel utterly terrible about my treatment of them, but I am loath to miss even a single auction. Did you know that the displays for the auction are all handmade? Handmade! Amazing, isn't it? They must have had a hard time making them. I've just been talking to the kid, actually. Paint the plinth. You must paint several cubes that form a majestic plinth. When put together, all cubes are the same size. You have to paint them all at once, and you can only paint the visible sides of the plinth. For example, if you painted a plinth made up of 2 cubes, you would only paint 4 sides of each cube. Yeah, I see what they mean, yeah. If you wanted to make a plinth made up of cubes painted on exactly 1 side, 2 sides, 3 sides, and 4 sides, what is the lowest number of cubes that you would need? You can place cubes on top of each other. I'd say 6, just like that, off the top of my head. I pictured it something like this. Yeah, I'm not great at drawing. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, but it seems like there are cubes that you would only need to paint 3 sides, but none of them would require to be painted on 4 sides. Because here you have cubes that are painted on 2 sides, 1 side, and 3 sides, but not 4. I'm playing around in my head with 3D shapes of a plinth made up of cubes, trying different combinations. Well, I can erase that anyway. That's not the correct solution. I don't see it. Well, it doesn't need to be a square or a rectangle, does it? So let's say no, hold on. Something like this. You have one here that I can actually draw on them. This one requires 1. This one requires 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, and 4. That's a solution, but is it the lowest number though?
A challenging puzzle, to be sure.
Okay, well, show me.
I love the thrill of a good solution.
Ah, well, okay. It's exactly what I had in mind, actually. It's the exact shape. You would need 7 cubes. You need at least 5 cubes just to get a single cube with only one side painted. Yeah, that's what I thought. In order to paint one of the 4 remaining cubes on 2 sides, you need to add another 2 cubes. Once that basic configuration has been made, the rest of the cubes should follow. Yeah, well, I don't see any sign of the auction starting soon. Why not take the day off and go home? Impossible. Think of the opportunities I would miss while I'm away. Is Crow in here? He doesn't seem to be here. Okay. Back out. This way. No. You won't tell anyone the truth about the Black Raven, will you? Late for work again. Being a morning person isn't about loving the early hours. It's more about battling your own laziness. That's a battle I usually lose. A battle I usually snooze. I find it interesting that they let you travel around a bit more freely in this one. Layton, my boy, I hear you're involved in quite an intriguing investigation. Tell me all. Well, it's to do with Miss Tollery, which, as you know, is rumored to be the site of the Golden Garden. Ah, yes, Miss Tollery. Woohoo! Finding this Golden Garden would make your career, eh, Layton? I'll expect a full report from you sometime in the near future. Well, in truth, I have yet to find any trace of this Golden Garden, but I will gather what information I can. Good, good, I have high hopes. Give it your best. By the way, Urshel, could I perhaps bother you for a little help? A small problem came up during the seminar the other day, and I told everyone to leave it to me. The matter has proven rather more tricky to handle than I expected, however, and now I'm stuck. I can't solve it, but obviously I can't admit defeat in front of the whole research panel either. That is problematic. Quite so. Would you perhaps be able to, I'll do my best, Dean. Stick to the plank. A man is moving a water jug using a round log and a long plank. If the circumference of the log is 20 centimeters, how far ahead in centimeters would the water jug be after one complete turn of the log? This is assuming that the plank, log, and jug do not slip out of place or get stuck. Wait, what is it? What is it exactly that they want? A man is moving a water jug, yeah. Well, 20 centimeters, isn't it? After one complete turn of the log. Is there something I'm missing here? That seems a bit too obvious. Yeah, it's something I seem to remember that it's not quite as easy as well. It made a full rotation, so it is 20 centimeters ahead. There's something else. I'm not gonna take a hint because it's probably gonna tell me try to imagine in your head how the plank and the log will move one compared to the other. So I'm thinking about this one myself. No, there is more to it than that, I'm sure. Hold on. The log will move forward 20 centimeters. Ah, yeah, I think I got it. Yeah. Because, yeah, it will roll like this forward, in that direction, if you like. But the plank is also moving in that direction because of how it will slide along the log. I think that's it. You're meant to think that it's 20 centimeters, but you have to think about the plank as well, which is going to move to move along the. It's not just going to remain on the same spot on the log. It's going to slide over and roll on it as well. I think it's then that would be, yeah, it would be 40, I think. I vaguely remember this puzzle requiring that sort of thinking.
Some puzzles
I think
must
so
be
too.
met directly.
Yeah.
No puzzle is without
Yeah, there
an
you go.
answer.
You're on a roll. When the log rolls round, it moves forward 20 centimeters. It also pushes the plank along 20 centimeters at the same time. Added together, the jug moves 40 centimeters. Okay. Stick to the plank is now in your puzzle index. There, I'm glad I could help. Thank you. Incidentally, Layton. Yes? Please keep this quiet. If the other professors found out you had helped me. Of course, your secret is safe with me. Well, that's good to hear. Now, go off and find the Golden Garden and write that paper for me. In his office? Rosa has a puzzle as well. What's this? Home already, Professor? Not quite. I'm here to look a few things up. Our case is yet unsolved. Well, just you be careful. Oh, by the way, Professor, I found this tucked away while I was cleaning. Oh yes, this had completely slipped my mind. Yeah, because I found this puzzle under the dresser the other day. Oh yeah, it's been there for a few months. I had completely forgotten about it, I guess. Yes, puzzles tucked away in every corner of the of his office. Can you rearrange the pieces making up Layton's hat into the shape of an ostrich? I was thinking to myself that it looks like an ostrich, actually. The pieces can be moved, flipped, and rotated in any direction. Well, that shouldn't be too hard, I expect. No. No, that's not gonna work. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, this is something that can happen sometimes on the Wii U emulator. There is a little scaling artifact, like that little black line that's not supposed to be there. When I slide the thing around, yeah, that's one of the downsides, I guess, of that emulator. It's not perfect. Not by any means. I guess this is the only piece that can go at the bottom. Yeah, I'm onto something. There we go. Okay, got it. OMG, a dead body. This reminds me of a puzzle. Basically how things work in the Layton universe.
A gentleman leaves no puzzle undone.
In fact, they're all crazy. They're all Mad Hatters, and Layton is the king of the Mad Hatters. Blockwork Ostrich is now in your puzzle index. Well, would you believe it? So this was a puzzle too. One of my students gave it to me. I had completely forgotten about it. Okay then, I'll put it away for you, nice and safe. Leave it to me, Professor. Yes, thank you, Rosa. My office is entirely in your capable hands. Okay. I seem to have spoken to everyone at the Crescent Heller University. Let's try Scotland Yard again. Ah, Monica, you're missing Monica again. Oh ho, if it isn't Professor Layton, what records do you need dug up today, Prof? Nothing today, thank you, Monica. We were just passing through. I trust you're well. Oh, you know me, practically indestructible. Actually, there is one thing that's been bothering me. There's this puzzle that's doing the rounds in Scotland Yard, and I couldn't solve it for peanuts. Silver Spinner. Uh-oh. Yeah, there were puzzles like these in the last game I played. I can be either very good at these or very bad. But we'll see. Yeah, except those that are marked with an X. I guess this is the only difference with the puzzles that were in the last Layton game I played. Is that it? Oh, okay. Oof.
Time to apply some creative thinking.
Well, there's probably gonna be other puzzles like this one later, but with more marbles to make it harder. Sterling work. The most satisfying way to finish this puzzle is to leave the final marble in the very center. Did you manage it? Yes, I did. Silver Spinner is now in your puzzle index. You, Professor, do not disappoint. You're head and shoulders above the inspectors. Oh no, it was nothing. No need to be so modest, but I suppose you can't help being such a gent. There we go. Well, hello again. Business flourishing, I trust? Oh, yes, it's alright, thanks. You've been a busy bee by the looks of it, and what could be better for a busy bee than some flowers? Take a whiff of this divine fragrance. Oh, that smells gorgeous. Mmm. Gardening is a growing hobby these days. A lovely garden is the path to happiness, I say. You have planted 16 magic tulip bulbs in this 4x4 flower bed. Watering a space will cause all magic bulbs in the same row and column to sprout if they are below ground, or recede if they are above ground. How should you proceed to fill the bed with flowers? Wait, oh. Ah, no, never mind. Okay, you're watering them straight away. Okay. Ah, yeah, that reverses the whole row, I guess. Is this correct? Yeah, okay, like this. Oh, I may be onto something. There we go. Okay.
What do you think about this? That puzzle was no problem.
Correct. Watering the flower bed as shown above will fill it with flowers. Your garden is full of tulips. Now you just have to work out how you're going to water them for the rest of the summer. Yeah. It's basically, well, they're all out, so if I water them again, they're just gonna disappear again, so better not water them. Fill the flower bed is now in your puzzle index. I think the solution that I used was not the one that was displayed also. If only it were that easy to make flowers bloom all over London. Wouldn't it be wonderful? London covered in flowers. Somehow I can't imagine it. Cornish pasties and fresh coffee. I have never had Cornish pasties in my life. I don't know how good they could be. Fancy meeting you here again. My bus is late as usual. Care to keep me company for a couple of minutes? The bus stop. The buses... Oh, I seem to remember this one. The buses on this route leave at the times indicated on the bus stop's timetable. All the buses start at this bus stop and take exactly 1 hour to get back here. How many buses are necessary to cover all the bus departure times indicated? They're decent, not my favorite though. I don't even know what they are made of or anything. We don't have those here, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe we do, but they're not common, probably. Well, it stands to reason that you need at least one for this one for this one, and let's say number 2, and let's say number 3 for this one. Now, bus number 1 could take care of this one. Bus number 2 could take care of this one. Bus number 3 could take care of this one. Then we would probably need a 4th bus for this one. I guess bus number 1 could take care of this. Bus number 2 could take care of this. Or maybe not necessarily. I could use 4 here and 2 here. Then 3 could take care of this one. 1 could take care of this one. I'm getting a bit lost myself in my notes. It's short crust pastry filled with diced beef and or potato. Oh, okay. So it's not like a sweet pastry, I guess, if it has beef and or potato in it. Yeah, I think, well, we do have similar things here, but not exactly the same, I guess. It's yeah, kind of meat pie, I guess. Let me start again. Well, by 8:10, bus number 1 can take care of this one. By 8:20, bus number 2 can take care of this one. Bus number 3 isn't back, so you would need a 4th, like I said. By 9:20, bus number 1 is already back. By 9:30, bus number 2 is already back. But I guess bus 4 is already back as well. Or hold on, actually. Bus number 3 is already back by then, because it should be back by 8:40. And so there you can use 1, 2... 1 won't be back until 10:30, so you could only use it again here, I guess. And bus number 4 should be back by 9:40, so you can use it here. You can use bus number 3 here. Bus number 4 isn't back until 11:15, so you can use it here, I suppose. Yeah, I think I need a 5th one. I thought I could fill the whole timetable with only 4, but it doesn't look like it's possible. You can get other kinds, like cheese and onion pasty, kind of like a pie, a savory one, not a sweet one. Ah, okay. Well, although cheese and onion, I still wouldn't call it sweet. Yeah, but yeah, I see what you mean, yeah. Yeah, we have several kinds here too. We have one that is cheese and ham, for example, here, that I quite like. And there's one with how do you call that in English? Leek. You know, the long veggie, like a white and green. A leek pie, if you like. L-E-E-K. That's also quite popular. But the cheese and ham one is my favorite. Yeah, it seems like it doesn't matter how I will fit it. It's either 4 or 5. Maybe I could arrange them a bit better so that so that you could use only 4. But I've tried to rotate them around in my head and I can't find a better solution. So I think it should be 5.
I'll handle this one, Professor.
Yay!
Well,
I did waste some time on this one. All aboard! At least 5 buses are necessary to operate this route. 4 buses wouldn't be quite enough. That's what I had in mind, indeed. And actually, the 5th one is exactly where I put it myself. Smear? You've done it again. Stop solving my puzzle so quickly. It's going to be a long wait. Give me some time to think up another puzzle. I'll make it really hard next time. Do you have another one already? No, not right away. I've been waiting donkey's years. Will that bus ever get here? I know the feeling. It's mind-blowing, really, especially dinosaurs. They're the reason I keep coming back to this place. And another puzzle. Okay. Chappie. Meow? Did you say something? Ah, Luke, this is the museum curator, Chappie. He has a great fondness for cats, which results in some eccentric behavior. Meow? I see, he seems to need our help with something. You want to board up this broken window with some wood, but much to your dismay, all you can find are some old offcuts, most of which have holes in them. Place the boards all over the window, so that the window is completely covered and no holes show through. No boards may stand beyond the square window frame, but you can flip and rotate each piece of wood freely. Okay. Well, I tried to fill the corners with, yeah, with pieces that are already full. Come on, I just want to rotate it. Okay. Alright, there you go, another scaling artifact right there. Yeah, that may not necessarily be it, I think. Not quite. Let me... Hold on a minute. I'm gonna take them all off and count how many squares I need to cover up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... Well, hold on. 5 by 5, that's 25. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. How can I cover up 25? Ah, no, there's another down there. I didn't see it. Okay. My bad. I didn't see this one. I may have been onto something then. Well, there.
A challenging puzzle, to be sure. No puzzle is
Ah,
without
come
an
on,
answer.
stream. Stop acting up, please. Well done, the window is finally sealed. That ought to make things much cozier during those cold winter nights. Board the window is now in your puzzle index. Meow, meow. My pleasure, chappie. Can he not talk normally? Meow. Perhaps the youth cannot comprehend my cat impression. Well, I understood you perfectly, chappie. I knew you would, Herschel Layton. You're the museum's shining star. Okay, I think I'm done with London. Not this way. I've already tried. Ah, the lady. Did I tell you we sometimes hear noises coming from the cellar even when there's no one down there? Dolan says it's probably just the wind in the floorboards. There's times I think I must be going barmy. Maybe it's the old squire's ghost. I reckon he came to a violent end, you know? You mean Evan Bard? I thought his death was ruled a suicide. Well, just between you and me, he wasn't particularly well liked, was Mr. Bard. He owned most of the land in town and hiked the rent right up. That didn't make him any friends. And then he always acted so high and mighty that the only person he would talk to was Mr. Triton. I was dismissed from that household years ago. It was lucky for me that they took me on here, I'll tell you. But then you just don't know, do you? He might have had his own reasons not to want to live. I see, and you believe he may be haunting this house. Why this one? Oh no, I didn't mean... There's no reason at all why he'd come and haunt poor Mr. Triton's house. Oh, don't mind old Beth, dearie. In fact, I have a little puzzle for you if you fancy it. Your lucky tablecloth is damaged, and you want to salvage it. After cutting off the shaded area, you make 2 straight cuts along the dotted lines and head up with 3 pieces. Sewing these pieces together gives you a smaller square tablecloth decorated with 5 complete 4-leaf clovers. Draw 2 lines on the cloth to show the 2 straight cuts you make. Okay, sorry. How many cuts am I allowed? 2 straight cuts. Okay. Oh, and my router is acting up. It's a new one, and it's acting up already. I'm not very good at this type of puzzle specifically. Um, um, if I rearrange these pieces together, I may need a hint on this one. Try thinking about where the cloth needs to be joined to give 5 4-leaf clovers. Ah, yeah, because it said so in the explanation, actually, yeah. 5 complete 4-leaf clovers, yeah. Clovers. That should give you some ideas how to form the square. Because I was thinking of using this piece here and put it sideways here. So it would look something like... something like this, I suppose. No, not quite. It seems to me that if you want to cut without, and having 5 complete leaf clovers, you can't cut to where there are any clovers, really. You can't cut into existing clovers, otherwise they will not be complete in the finished piece. Yeah, I think that can work. Seems like it.
How about this? I knew I could do it.
Ah, yeah, okay, yeah, it makes a bit more sense that way. Now, I ain't one to gossip, and I would never say a word against the Master, but it is a bit strange how Mr. Bard left all his land to Mr. Triton. They weren't related or nothing. Then there's the way the Master has become all funny ever since Mrs. Triton's been gone. Wait. Let me try the remaining rooms. Don't have a puzzle, old man. The Master was deeply distressed that the Spectre appeared last night. I hope you may solve this matter in all haste, Mr. Layton. Well, he has no time for puzzles, I guess. Herschel, good to see you. So how is the investigation proceeding? As well as one could hope. Are you alright, Clark? You look pale. The Spectre appeared again last night. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but something must be done. We're struggling just to keep up with the repairs. When will this end? Clark, calm down for a moment. Getting worked up about it won't solve anything. Yes, I'm sorry, Herschel. By the way, thank you for looking after Luke. I rest a bit easier knowing that he is in your hands. He is a crafty one, just like his mother. Okay, well, if there's no one else, let's leave. I can't remember where the police HQ is. Oh, a new boat pier stop or something. Boat pier 5. Yeah, okay. I don't think I'm going the right way. A mouse. Okay. Whatever are they for? Yeah, I still haven't figured that one out. I tend to forget that there's an arrow on the top screen that tells you exactly which way you're supposed to go to get to your next objective. Another mouse. Okay. To the right. Ah, there you are. Chief Constable Jakes will see you now. Our chief is amazingly talented, so you show some respect. And tell him I said so, will you? His office is just down the left corridor here. I think I haven't been here yet. Yeah. In coins. There we go. Here, and then... Okay, that's 3. What did you say the chief of police is known as? Third Eye Jakes? What kind of person calls himself that? Humility may not be the chief's strong suit. He sounds like an excellent detective nonetheless. Let's reserve judgment until we meet the man. I don't trust him for 1 minute. So you're the archaeologist who took it upon himself to investigate the Spectre, eh? Yes, my name is Layton. It's a pleasure to... Layton, huh? Never heard of you. How's your investigation going? Well, we're just getting started, to be honest. He looks pretty ordinary for someone with a third eye. Emmy, shush! Chief Jakes, did you investigate the death of Mr. Bard last year? No, we just let that one go. Ha! What, you think Bard's death got something to do with the Spectre? I believe there is the possibility of a connection, yes. You determined that the death of Mr. Bard was a suicide. How were you able to determine that? Easy, we found the will. The mere presence of a will is not enough to indicate a suicide, is it? No, it's not. Almost like how a big hat isn't enough to indicate someone with police experience. I'm not challenging your judgment, Chief Jakes. I just need to confirm some facts. Then allow me to confirm. I know that Mr. Bard threw himself into the lake because someone saw him. Clark Triton was your witness. So you've done some homework. Yes, Mayor Triton witnessed it while he was out fishing. If you've got a problem with it, perhaps you should take it up with the mayor himself. I see. Thank you for your cooperation. He didn't really cooperate, really. Run along and dig us up some buried treasure now. Haha, Layton, you know why they call me Third Eye Jakes? Yes, they call you that because you've solved every one of your cases. It's because I've solved every one of my... Yeah, that's right. And you know how I've done that? Well, I couldn't say for certain without a full investigation. Let me save you some legwork. I've solved every one of my cases because I see everything. I see some interlopers crashing my sleepy little hamlet. I see the mayor's son running around town with said interlopers. With all due respect, Chief, we were invited to stay here. That's right, by the mayor himself. Really? Did the mayor ask you to drag his boy around town while you investigate Mr. Bard's death? My father doesn't even know where I am right now. All the more reason he may want to know about Layton here sticking his nose where it doesn't belong. We should be going now. Layton, I've got my eyes on you, all three of them. I want you out of Miss Tollery, you understand me? I'll give you 24 hours to pack your stuff, get in that funny little car of yours, and go back to London. The clock is ticking, Layton. I guess I have to solve the case within the 24 hours, then. You can't do this! Hey, what are you trying to say? That's not fair. Let's just go, Luke. Tick-tock, Layton. Not evil at all. Third Eye Jakes. The name of Chief Constable Jakes has risen to legendary status through his purportedly perfect track record for solving crimes. Some say he was chosen by fate. The chief is said to let no case go unsolved, and the townsfolk hold him in high regard for this reason. Jakes seems to be able to solve all his cases through his incredible powers of deduction. I won't stand for this. Chief Jakes is going too far. We have to talk to Luke's father. We will, Emmy, but right now I'm a little more concerned about something else. The police are supposed to protect people. Why would he act like that? Jakes wants us off this case for some reason. Regardless, we have a duty to seek the truth here. And to that end, I agree. Let's go and see your father, Luke. Phew, the round trip between Grand Bridge and High Yard Hill is a long haul, even for old Bucky here. Heh, yes, I imagine so. Hey, for my customers, I would do anything. You guys want a ride? A ride? From here, you mean? Wouldn't that be impracticable? Impracticable? The word impracticable is not in old Bucky's dictionary. I didn't even know it was in any dictionary, to be honest. Well, do you want a ride? Bucky's got some great boats here. Okay. Well, I guess that's all the piers now. Oh, I can go back to his office, actually? Shoot, yeah, I missed the puzzle and I missed some hint coins, it seems. Okay, hint coins. Okay. And, okay, there we go. And there's a puzzle. What a beautiful fireplace. It looks as if someone's taken good care of it. You know, I have a puzzle about a fireplace that's been burning me up. Fuel for the fire. The occupants of this chilly home burn a bundle of wood in their fireplace every day of the year. In the 3-month period starting this month, they will burn 3 more bundles of wood than in the following 3-month period. Given that this is a 365-day year, can you work out what the current month is? Express your answer as a number. I don't know, at the beginning of the winter? And winter starts in December. Well, technically it starts in late December, but well. In the 3-month period started in this month, they will burn 3 more bundles of wood than in the following 3-month period. No, that has nothing to do with it. No, wait. No, it's something else. It's got nothing to do with the seasons. No, it's something to do with the number of days per month, probably. Yeah, I see. This is a 365-day year, but the next one will have one less day. So let's say the next 3-month period starts in February, where there's only 28 days in the month, and then there's March and April. That would be 89 logs on that 3-month period, and on the period that starts in November and covers December and January, which both have 31 days, that would be 82 days. 82 days, followed by a period where they will be burning only 79 logs, or bundles, I guess, of wood.
Some puzzles must be met directly.
Yeah, I thought to
thrill of a
myself,
good
what's that got to do with anything, the 365-day year thing? No, actually, yeah, well, never mind. Yeah, I had the way I counted, no, yeah, never mind. Okay, ignore everything I've said, yeah, because, actually it was more a fluke than anything else. Okay, well, whatever. It had something with what I said, something to do with what I said, but I didn't get all my facts right, actually. Good work, Emmy. I really enjoyed that one. Glad you liked it, Professor. Okay. Where to now? Oh, wait. Go back. Because I forgot something again. Yeah, this. Bent cufflink. Let's see, Mr. Triton. Which way is it again? This way. Down. Right and then down. Down. Left. Upstairs. Okay. How is the investigation going, Urshel? I hope Luke hasn't been troublesome. Quite the contrary, Luke has been very helpful. Clark, I would like to ask you something. Of course, how can I help? I need you to tell me everything you know about the death of Evan Bard. Evan Bard? Gonna head off now? Gotta head to work soon? Oh, okay. Well, have a good one then, Mush. As good as it can be, anyway. Thank you for dropping by. I know you love your Layton games. Take care, mate. I'll tell you the same thing I told the police. I saw someone fall off a cliff. That's it. I didn't see anyone else around. I didn't even know it was Bard when it happened. Chief Jakes closed the case as a suicide. Yes, well, that makes sense if no one else was there. What about the will? Why would Bard leave you his land deeds? Evan was a friend and the only person in town with whom I could discuss intellectual matters. You would have liked him very much, Urshel. Of course, I was still very surprised by the will. Chief Jakes confirmed the will and acted as the executor. He took care of everything for me. I became an extensive landowner overnight, and I've been dealing with the red tape ever since. And Ariana and her brother? They are still the future heirs, as far as I'm concerned. I only planned to oversee the land until they were of age. Unfortunately, it is possible that Ariana will not live long enough to see that happen. So you know about her illness. Of course, it's truly tragic. I don't know what I would do if such a fate were to befall Luke. Evan was always so attentive to his children. I was so shocked to learn that he hadn't made adequate provisions for them. Do you agree with Jake's conclusion about Bart's death? Well, he is much more qualified to make that judgment than I am. He is Third-Eye Jake's after all. Yes, that name derives from his ability to solve every case, I understand. Every case, yes. Herschel, the main, has practically eliminated crime in Mist Hullery. Besides the activities of witches and specters, of course. What are you implying, Herschel? Please, just this once. Stop speaking in riddles. Not likely. Cases ruled as accidents, unexpected confessions, complaints being withdrawn. Yes, go on. It's a common pattern among solved cases. Herschel, you don't think Jake's had anything to do with Bart's death, do you? Would the Master like to have his dinner now? Doland, you gave me quite a start. How long have you been there? Only moments, sir. I apologize if you did not hear me knock. Am I disturbing the Master? No, of course not. No. Yes, dinner sounds splendid. Herschel, Emmy, please join us. We have several aged wines in the cellar. Herschel, perhaps you could go down and select a bottle for us? You want me to pick a wine? Perhaps the Master would prefer if I select a wine to go with dinner? Oh, no. Our friend Layton is quite the connoisseur when it comes to wine. Isn't that right, old boy? Well, it would be my pleasure. Where is the wine cellar? There's something fishy going on here. I didn't know you were into wine, Professor. Is there anything you don't know about? Actually, he isn't. Is that where they're going with this? To be honest, I'm more of a connoisseur of tea. I can't claim to know much about wine at all. Really? Then why did Clark say that you do? It seemed to me that Clark was fabricating a reason for us to see the basement. There must be something there. I think we should do as he wishes. The cellar is through the blue door down on the ground floor hallway. If anything, I find it annoying that you can slide the little shoe icon around. Because I always do it by accident. It looks like a normal cellar to me. What are we supposed to notice? Luke, does anything strike you as out of the ordinary? No, not really. Actually, the basement's been off limits lately, so I can't say for sure. Off limits, eh? Did you get caught down here scuffing fruit tarts between meals, Luke? What? No! They were eclairs, and that's not the point. Shh, quiet. What is it, Emmy? I thought I heard something. Maybe I imagined it. Perhaps it was a mouse? I beg your pardon? My apologies, Luke. I wonder if there is something we're missing. Professor Layton, is there anything I can do to help? Ah! Don't startle us like this. No, I think we're fine, Doland. Thank you. Doland, did you happen to know Mr. Bard as well? Yes, I know it isn't kind to speak ill of the departed, but Mr. Bard was a man who charged extortionate rents to those who lived on this land. Some are inclined to believe that he was thrown from the cliff by an angry tenant. Surely a cultured man like yourself is aware of how the locals will gossip. It's too bad that's all Bard is remembered for. Most everyone knew him, most everyone despised him. Oh, but I do prattle on. If you have selected a wine, I can carry on with preparing dinner. Doland, has my dad been acting strange to you lately? He has been rather preoccupied, I would say. Much of his time is spent in the study. Yes, clearly Clark has other matters in hand. Let's get going. You're not staying for dinner? We'll have to do it another time. Please give my regards to Clark. Thanks for your help, Doland. My pleasure. Do be careful out there. Okay. Fish. Okay. Okay. Soot-stained cloak. Okay. Ah, there's a puzzle. Okay. It's a wine rack. The bottles are arranged haphazardly. Do you think they forgot to tidy them up? Having bottles lying on the ground isn't very wise. Let's put them away before someone breaks one. In order to store this fine wine in an appropriate manner, the following rules must be observed. White wine should always be stored so that there is only one bottle on any horizontal, vertical, or diagonal line. Red wine should also be stored so that there is only one bottle on the same horizontal, vertical, or diagonal line. The 2 bottles already in the crate cannot be moved. Okay. Wait, hold on. That seems a bit too easy. So the red and white can overlap, right? Like this, for example. Wouldn't that work? Ah, no. No, not quite. Hold on. Like this, then. That seems to work for me. Unless there's something that I don't get about the rules.
A challenging puzzle, to be sure. What could have gone wrong here?
Well, there's no 2 white wine in the same... Ah, but maybe in diagonal there's... Ah, yeah. Yeah, no, okay, yeah, I did not respect the diagonal rule. Okay. Well, the white ones... The white ones seem to be well placed. At least. I don't seem to have to move them. How about like this? I don't know, that seems correct to me.
Some puzzles must be met directly. A gentleman leaves no puzzle undone.
Well done. The bottles may be placed as shown in the 2 diagrams. We would have thought that storing wine... Who would have thought that storing wine was so complicated? Perfect. That's everything tidied away now. That was fun. Professor, what was that about? What was the library and Clark's account? There are still many questions about Bard's death. This, coupled with the Spectre not being reported outside Miss Tollery, troubles me. It would appear that someone is carefully manipulating information about these 2 events. A falsified report and a cover-up conspiracy? This is shaping up to be quite a case. But who is capable of doing this? There's only one person I can think of. Who, Luke? Chief Constable Jakes. He's in a position to do both of these things. Of those things. Luke is spot on. Jakes is the only one in this town capable of both. He's supposed to be a public servant. That's just unforgivable. Emmy, your faith in public servants is inspiring. However, there is no doubt that Jakes is withholding information. We need to find out more about him. Oh, Inspector Grosky, your muscles glisten in the country just as they do back in London. How manly. She followed him. You again? What are you doing here? For Grosky, I would walk through fire. Luckily, I didn't have to. I just took a taxi out here. Emmy, do you know this woman? Sort of, I bumped into her in London. Krosky told me he had a lead. He must be on the trail of a notorious criminal. Oh, it's too exciting. He seemed even more determined than usual. I wish he would search for me with that kind of passion. He said he had a lead. Which way did he go? He just ran up that way. He's probably at the crossroads now. We might still be able to catch him. Let's hurry. A new episode has been added to the trunk. Hannah in love. Okay. Yeah, actually, I want to get some of these things out of the way. Actually, I've been mostly solving puzzles in tonight's stream, and not progressing the story too much. But so many puzzles were available all of a sudden that.
What's this?
Gentlemen, I hope we're not going to have any trouble
She's
here.
gonna kick their ass.
Emmy, your methods are unorthodox, but very effective.
Thanks. Whenever you need a little muscle, you just let me know, Professor, and I'll be there.
I'll keep
Look at
that
these
in mind.
matchsticks arms.
Who are these
It's
men?
more
Do you
technique than
think
muscle,
Jake
I
sent them
think.
after us?
Looks like Jake's didn't
Not
want
the
to
least
wait
impressive,
full 24
obviously,
hours
but
to get rid of us.
Just
Was
saying.
Mr. Bard killed by these thugs?
Unfortunately, we can't say for certain.
I'd say they work for Jake's. If I had to guess. Layton, Emmy, I've been looking all over for you two. I've got a very corporeal lead on that Spectre of yours. Really? That's great, Inspector. I didn't notice until now his chest hair poking out of his shirt there. Very manly. The police chief in this town is really ahead of the game. He said that a tall-hatted gentleman and a fiery young lady abducted the mayor's son. He added that they were posing as investigators when in fact they were controlling the Spectre. Not to dampen your spirits, but that does narrow the suspects down a fair bit. Is any of this true, Layton? Explain yourself. Chief Jakes hasn't given us a warm welcome, that's for certain. Don't be fooled, Inspector. Jakes is the real culprit, I know it. What, Jakes, you say? So he's trying to pull the wool over my eyes, eh? Aye, Grosky of the Yard will not take such shenanigans sitting down. Inspector, wait! He really is quick for someone his size. Yes, you'd need a time machine to keep up with Grosky. Professor, we didn't get to tell Grosky what's happening. Should we go after him? No, let's avoid running into Jakes again if possible. We need to continue our investigation. My concern is growing about the situation with Jakes, however. Ah, well, this is the end of another chapter. Face to face with the Spectre. We need to work fast. Jakes is just waiting for an opportunity to take us out. Yes, we'll have to be really careful. I think we should be alright as long as we stay in populated areas. Luke, who knows that you are the one predicting the Spectre's appearances? Just Doland. He promised he wouldn't mention me to the police. I see. Well, young Oracle, do you know where the Spectre will strike next? Not yet, no. Ah, well, I have a prediction. I believe the next attack will take place between High Yard Arc and the reservoir. What, so you can predict the future too? Haha, not quite, Hemi. I simply deduced it from Luke's notes. My notes? Yes, looking at the records you kept proved to be quite helpful. I now know that the Spectre never strikes the same street twice. It has appeared in the same area on more than one occasion, but it spreads out its attacks. Of course, I hadn't realized that. It's all in there. We still don't know how we can tell where it's gonna happen, though. Is it in a dream? Is it in a vision? It's all in there. By looking at the patterns, one can work out where the Spectre will appear next. That's amazing, Professor. We might just stay one step ahead of Jakes with this information. Let's head for High Yard Arc. Alright. No, not this way. Yeah, almost missed it. It looks as if you were right, Mr. Layton. Why do you say that? The Spectre will appear here tonight. Really? Please go on. What makes you say that? Yeah, how do you know? It's the water level. The water level? What about it? I suppose I can tell you now, Mr. Layton. Of course, you know by now that I'm not some supernatural oracle. I've been able to predict when and where the Spectre would appear because of one simple thing. It was the water level in the canals. At first, I just noticed it by chance. I was walking through town and saw that the water was very low in one stretch of the canal. I didn't think much of it until the Spectre attacked that very spot the same evening. It appeared just in the place where the water was low. I thought it might have been a coincidence, but I started tracking the water levels just in case. After that, I realized that there must be a connection. Whenever the water level fell, that meant the Spectre would attack there that night. You came up with that all by yourself? Wow! I wonder if the Spectre somehow needs water to appear. Hang on a sec. Luke, why didn't you tell us this earlier? That info might have been useful. It's just, I didn't know if I could trust you, Mr. Layton. So that means you do trust us now, I suppose. Hey, hang on another sec. How are you tracking water levels in town if you hardly ever left your room? I had help from my friend. This is Toppy. Ah, is this the guy we've been trying to grab all along? Why do you have a mouse in your pocket? Well, as I said, he's my friend. I don't get everything he says, but I understand enough. Wow, so you can talk to mice? I think that could be even weirder than the whole Spectre business. Well, I don't really understand it either. We've seen stranger things since we arrived here, Emmy. So, Luke, the Spectre will appear here tonight? Yes, if my theory is correct. Well, Professor, what should we do? Let us see if Luke's theory holds water, so to speak. So, should we tell Dolan so he can alert the police? Actually, no. Let's evacuate the residents on our own this time. What? Why, Mr. Layton? We are going to set a little trap for the Spectre. We are? What are we going to do? What are you planning, Mr. Layton? We're going to have a final showdown with the Spectre. How are we going to do that? First, we'll evacuate the residents, then we'll need to visit the black market. Okay. The mystery of the Oracle is solved. Isn't that the opening cutscene? I think it is. Ah, no, not quite.
Got a bit of a problem.
I assume you're referring to one Herschel Layton? I must decide on a plan of action for when he finds out. And he will find out.
You already know about this guy?
I do. Fate is so interesting sometimes.
Professor, how are we going to get everyone in the area to evacuate without the help of the police? Luke, do you know anyone who could take charge of an operation like this? I think Grep would do it. He loves ordering people around. He's certainly scary enough for the job. If Grep told people to leave, they would definitely listen to him. He's probably still at Patty's restaurant, griping. Splendid. Maybe we can persuade him to channel his energy into helping the residents. So up to Patty's restaurant then. I wonder what his special is today. I knew she was gonna be excited about it just for the food. Or north, I should say, I guess. It's this guy, isn't it? Mr. Krepp, there is something I'd like to speak to you about. You lot again! Did Triton put you up to this? Well, I don't have time for you. Leave me alone! Please, calm down, Mr. Krepp. The Spectre will appear again tonight, according to Luke's predictions. Predictions? I had heard there was someone making predictions, but you're saying it's this child? Never mind that. Did you say the Spectre is coming? That's no joking matter. Are you sure? Yes, I'm afraid so. Tonight, near High Yard Arc. But the police cannot be involved this time. We have to organize the evacuation in their stead. You are well respected in the neighborhood. Would you help us get everyone to safety? You're asking me to help? How can I trust you? Why should I believe this boy can predict anything? If you are trying to manipulate me with some cock and bull story, you'll come to regret it. On the other hand, if what you say is true, the townspeople are in grave danger. Humph. Very well, I cannot put my pride before the safety of others. I will help you. But you will have to devise a way to get everyone out in time. That sounds fair. Would you have any suggestions? I can call on a few friends to help with the evacuation, but the rest is up to you. Oh, you have to draw up the plan? Krepp asked some acquaintances to help evacuate the entire neighborhood, but he was only able to recruit 9 people. Those two whose voices carry 3 squares, 3 whose voices carry 3 squares, yeah, 2 whose voices carry 3 squares, 3 whose voices carry 2 squares, 4 whose voices carry 1 square. Okay. Where should you tell each person to stand so that the evacuation message reaches every street in the neighborhood? Wait, how come? Okay, put her back. Oh, they can't turn, essentially. The voices can't, Well, like this, I suppose. Like this? Yeah, oh, actually, that's better. Like this. Like this? No, here. Okay.
A challenging puzzle, to be sure. I love the thrill of a good solution.
Okay. Evacuate is now in your puzzle index. Sea of pipes. Now we can get the evacuation started. Let me handle the people. I won't let anyone in this town come to harm. Thank you, Mr. Krepp. We will continue with our investigation. Let me solve this thing. If I can. Ooh, 7 bubbles. And how many spots do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Seems clear to me that there's gonna be one here. Or maybe you don't need all the bubbles, actually, come to think of it. There's probably gonna be a need of one here, of one here. Let's see what that does. No, not quite. That's not what I hoped would happen. Oh, wait. I could probably get those on the right. Going down like this. Where do I need another bubble? Here? No. Probably not. No. Ah, yes, he would bounce off of this bubble and down. And one here, perhaps? No. Well, actually, he would bounce with even in the right spot without the bubble, come to think of it. Ah, yeah, there we go. Good job, Jeff. Back. Well, hey, Panda, how's it going today? Doing well? Hello again, boys and girls. Fancy a quick bite before you head out? I know it seems dead in here, but at least I've plenty of time to lavish attention on my customers. Are you too hungry? Well, we haven't had a great deal to eat since we started the investigation. Perhaps it's time for a break. Lovely, I'll get some menus while you sit yourselves down. Emmy, this is delicious. Here, try some of mine. You two might want to slow down. Your food isn't going anywhere. Neither of you can hear me, can you? Okay, well it was worth it just for that. Mr. Layton, what do you have in mind for this showdown with the Spectre? I think it is time we determined the true nature of the Spectre. The true nature of the Spectre? And to do that, we need to lay a trap that spans the whole town. Wow, can we do that? Not alone, we can't. We will need quite a few helping hands. But if we're not going to ask the police for help, we shall ask the Black Ravens. Ah, good idea, Professor. Let's head to the black market to find Crow. Okay. The market is, well, okay, I went the long way around, but don't mind me. Market Central, it's down there, then down, this way, up. Ah, our very own sitting gentleman returns. What can I do for you, kind sir? Crow, we need your help in laying a trap for the Spectre. A trap for the Spectre? You must be joking. You'll be saving the town? Haha, very noble, rich boy, but you can't be serious. You can't seriously expect us to take on the Spectre. That's alright, this mission is fairly dangerous. It probably is too much for a group of children. Whoa, wait, what are you talking about? We may be kids, but we're not afraid of anything. All I'm saying is, how are you going to catch it if you don't even know what it is? Ah, but that's the point. The trap we lay will expose the Spectre's true nature. You really think you can pull that off? With your help, I think we can. Yes, are you interested? Maybe. I'm intrigued now. What do you need from us? Well, the first thing we'll need is... And from there, we'll just wait for the Spectre to appear. and then we'll have it. Let's go to the place where the Spectre will appear next. We'll have a lot to do. Emmy, Luke, I believe the Spectre will be appearing soon. I think it will be much easier to get a good view of it through the mist if I wait outside. It's dangerous, but it's a risk I have to accept. What are you planning to do, Professor? I should be able to get a good look at the Spectre if I wait for it here. In the meantime, I want you two to hide somewhere out of the way. What? You want me to run and hide? As your assistant, I'm going to be right at your side, no matter the danger. Consider me your assistant, Mr. Layton. I appreciate this, but I can't put either of you in danger. I'm sure we're not in any danger as long as we're with you. The more pairs of eyes we have watching for the Spectre, the better, no? Well, I can't dispute that. Alright, you can stay with me, but the moment you sense danger, promise me you will run for cover. Understood, Professor. You be careful too, Mr. Layton. Always. Now we wait for the Spectre.
It's the fog.
It's coming.
Huh?
The Spectre. I can feel it.
I hear it, but I can't see anything.
Uh-oh.
Oh, so this is a Spectre. Oh.
Professor, are you okay?
Emmy.
Mr. Layton,
Luke.
you saw it, right? You got a good look at the Spectre.
Oh, yes. I got a very good look.
Emmy, Luke, the Spectre is not at all what we had imagined. It appears to be... There they are! Apprehend them! Chief Constable Jakes. They're behind this whole Spectre madness. They're responsible for destroying the town. What? That's a complete fabrication. Ha, you can't deny it all the way to the station, Missy. Don't you call me that. Chief Constable Jakes, you can't be serious. Stop and hand me. I warned you lot. Keep yapping and I'll slap you with resisting arrest too. Jakes, you know as well as I do that we aren't the ones behind the Spectre. Far from it. In fact, the Spectre. Now, Layton, own up to your crimes like a gentleman. Ha ha ha. Alright, take them away. Have a nice little nap. What? Where am I? Interrogation room. Nice, eh? I like to keep our prime suspects cozy. Let us out. We haven't done anything wrong. Stay calm, Luke. What do you want with us? I demand to see a solicitor. Do you? You've been reading too many pulp novels, Missy. Once I explain to the town that the Spectre was all you're doing, you'll get your lawyer. If you know what's good for you, you'll just sit here quietly and keep your traps shut. Alright, that smug bully deserves a kick up his back fat. Ahem. What is it, Mr. Layton? I've been thinking. Jakes and his men were immediately on the scene, but they weren't aware of Luke's prediction. That's true, the police hauled us off the moment the Spectre was gone. It's as if he knew the Spectre would appear there, and he was planning on having us arrested all along. Wait, what are you saying? I believe this is all connected to the true nature of the Spectre, which is... We must clear up one more mystery before I can be absolutely certain. Our first step now is to find a way out of here as quickly as possible. Professor, are you suggesting a jailbreak?
Oh, got 'em. No problem. We don't gotta worry no more.
Worry?
What's so funny?
Oh, you must forgive my levity. I just find your confidence to be rather... What's the word?
Amusing. Quaint.
Is that right? You best watch your mouth.
You fool! As you stand here boasting, I guarantee that Layton is breaking out of your provincial little prison cell.
Breakout. Okay. Okay. The light switch. Go out the door, I guess. Ah, there's a puzzle. Mr. Layton, the door won't open. It must be locked from the outside. There's a keyhole on this side of the door too, but it's of little use without the key. Luke, Professor, stand aside, please. I think I can have this door down if I kick it just. Wait, Emmy. If we make a noise, our escape will be noticed. Let us consider the alternatives first. I know. Toppy can help us. Squeak. Toppy, we want to get out of this room. Can you bring the key? Squeak. Oh. What is it, Luke? There are 3 different keys. Toppy doesn't know which one is right. Key quandary. Well, I think it's C, maybe. Well, it can't be B. Ah, no, maybe it's A, actually. Because you pull it, you push it in until it's up to there. You rotate it, then push it a bit further, and then you finish churning. Because it looks like the other 2 would be too tall anyway. Yeah. I think it's A. Because it's the only way.
This is what I've come up with. That puzzle wasn't so hard.
That puzzle wasn't so hard. Keys B and C won't even fit in that keyhole. However, you can insert key A part way and then rotate it a half turn to insert the rest of the way. Yeah, okay. That did it. Now we can get out. Amazing stuff, Luke. You can really talk to animals. Quickly now, let's go. We still have to solve the riddle of the Spectre. Right, Professor. Okay. Shoot. Professor, there are police all over the place. We'll have to find some way to escape without being seen. And there's another puzzle. Escape route. Layton, Luke, and Emmy need to get the key and reach the exit without alerting any guards. There is a path that will allow the group to pick up the key on their way to the exit without passing in front of any guarded doorway or using the same corridor twice. Unfortunately, the corridors are all one way, so they must walk in the direction of the arrows. Draw a path that shows how the group can make their escape. Okay. Well, typically in this sort of thing, as I always say, you're probably better off walking backwards from the exit. You can't be coming to the exit from the left here on this first one, because you would be passing in front of an open doorway. Same here. This one you can't be arriving from the left because the arrow wouldn't let you. Here you couldn't be coming from the top because then you would be passing in front of this one here, which wouldn't be correct. And then from here. Yeah, because I still have to work my way towards the key. Is that it? Is this correct? But I've been tracing it backwards, so I have to check to see if this is correct. Well, I still have it mostly in mind, so... Okay, I'm still not passing in front of any door. That seems correct to me.
Some puzzles must be met directly.
No?
It appears as though I've missed something.
How have I been passing in front of a guard? I don't get it. Well, this is exactly what I've just done. And it seems correct to me. I'm following the arrows. And I'm not passing in front of any open doorway. Ah, yes, I did hear. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, okay. Okay, like this then. Okay, my bad.
A challenging puzzle, to be sure. A gentleman leaves no puzzle undone.
The group have made it to the exit with the key, and without being detected by the guards, now they can escape the police station. Come on, you two, we should leave with that while no eyes are upon us. It seems we've got out safely. It's already morning. Wow. I still can't believe Chief Constable Jakes tried to lock us up. Jakes certainly seems intent on obstructing our investigation. So what do we do now? We have another puzzle to solve. What is that? The Spectre's flute. What about it? The flute controls the Spectre in the manner of speaking, that is. But we need to find out why the flute is audible all over town and who is playing it. I just assumed that whoever played the music was with the Spectre. In this town, the wind could not carry the sound of a flute more than 100 yards, not to mention it would be dangerous to play the flute in the area being attacked. We haven't seen anyone around during the attacks, yet we still clearly heard the flute. Luke, do you remember the sites the Spectre has attacked so far? All my predictions are locked in my notebook. Sorry. Let's head back to High Yard Arc. We need to determine what the attack sites have in common. Well, I'm gonna have to stop here. Oh yeah, well I guess, yeah, let's do this one last puzzle then. Hey, I know you, my dad arrested you and locked you up. Scum like you lot should be behind bars where you belong. Stop right there, you're under arrest. And just how do you intend to arrest us? We've put up with quite enough from the Jakes family. You thug, if you pick on me, my dad will come after you. Then why don't you call your dad here right now so I can show him what's what? Shut it! Even without my dad, I'll teach you a lesson. Sometimes he gets me to organize the beats. Your father lets you plan police stuff? I bet it's so simple that anyone could do it. Policing the streets. 4 police officers are assigned guard duty at various junctions around their town in an effort to ensure its continued peace and safety. They can cover every road as far as the eye can see as long as the road extends in a straight line. Place each officer on a junction marked with a red cross to show how every inch of pavement can be seen. Okay. Well, you have to take into account the diagonals anyway. Because I remember a puzzle like that in another Layton game, and that's how it went back then too. How about that? Okay, this one sees these 2 trees too. Yeah, okay. That's correct.
What do you think about this? That puzzle was no problem.
Well done. No street is left uncovered and the 4 police officers stand on the points shown on the map. Tough one, wasn't it? Rhubarb. A child could have solved that. Yo, since I'm feeling generous, I'll let you go this time, but remember, I have my eye on you. A severe case of balloon syndrome is what you have, full of hot hair. Okay. Okay, let's close this. Well, I've solved 102 puzzles so far. So, the rest will have to wait till tomorrow. I'll create a restore point as well, just to be sure. So, the rest will have to wait till tomorrow. Well, not the whole rest of the game. I think there's at least 2 streams left, probably. And maybe one more if I want to finish solving all the remaining puzzles after that. But we'll see. I'm not entirely sure I will go all the way. But anyway, take care of yourselves, guys. I hope tomorrow my internet won't be acting up as much as it did today. It's a new router, and it's been acting up so bad. It may be just a coincidence. Maybe it would have acted up just as much if it was the old one. Maybe it's the line, or it's the on the ISP side and not on my end that there's a problem, but I can't say really. I just hope that it's not gonna be like this every night. But it depends. It had times where it was really, really bad, and other times where it was when it acted up every now and then. But at least it remained stable more often than not. But anyway, I hope it's gonna be just fine tomorrow. Take care of yourselves, like I said, and I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Bye-bye.